around $1,000 in commission in like 2 to 3 hours. At this point, I really don't have anything to lose. And so let me just go ahead and try it out. My first 3 to 4 weeks was when I had like my first viral video. Oh, wow. Like everything could change right here. I already have success with TikTok doing these headphones. Let me jump on a live and try to see if more people will buy if I'm on a live stream.
So you said 6 to 7 months every day for the same product.
Yeah, I think personally, like I prefer short videos more. I would tell any creator that I think it's really important to sharpen your skills in both channels.
What is one piece of advice that you wish you had when you first started?
Don't be afraid to just keep repeating what works over and over and over until it doesn't work anymore.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to TikTok Shop Affiliate Academy, a podcast that uncovers the story and strategy from the top 1% of TikTok Shop affiliates. Do not forget to review and share this podcast. You know, I've been seeing a lot of reviews and they've been awesome. Just kind of the help that the affiliates have been giving you guys. It's been great. And, you know, it keeps us going. And so, you know, take a moment to please review and, you know, give us a shout out, all that good stuff. What's working for you? I'm your host, Ivan, again. We have a very special guest today. She's married, moved to LA, lives by the beach, and transitioned from nearly a 10-year corporate auto finance full-time job to this creator life. So I love to get into that of kind of like, you know, office life to now creator life. She specializes in both TikTok Shop live content and video content, and has generated close to, or if not more than, $750,000 in lifetime GMV so far. Welcome, Shivani, to our podcast. Welcome, Shivani.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Anything to add to that background?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure we're gonna dig into it here in a minute or two.
Yes. And then Shivani, correct pronunciation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last name is Bagayan, and it gets, you know, butchered a lot. So I want to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correct.
No, a lot of my friends call me Shiv, if that's easier.
Shiv. Okay, cool. I'll do that. First questions. We always like to start off with a little bit of background, you know, what you were doing before TikTok Shop, and then maybe how you stumbled upon it, how you saw it, and made those first videos.
Yeah. So professionally, I was working in corporate auto finance for about 10 years. I was working for the finance arm of Ford Motor Company growing up in the Midwest. You know, auto is pretty common. It's what most people do. So that's kind of what I did out of college. Ended up kind of finding my way into B school, got my MBA, and was like, trying to kind of, I think I always had like an itch to figure out how I could have my own business. And so kind of in that maybe past 4 to 6 years before I even found TikTok Shop, I had a couple startups in the wedding industry. And I loved the idea of having my own business just because I felt like there was always something going on. There was always a problem to solve. You're kind of managing a lot of different things at once. And at the end of the day, I really do believe still that it's going to give me the freedom that I'm always craving. So yeah, I kind of always had that like entrepreneurial itch. And so even before TikTok Shop like launched, actually, I was part of Brands Meet Creators. I was part of their academy, and I was just in it because I was learning more about UGC. And so started kind of, you know, attending the calls and taking their online classes, and was like, wow, like I could pick up my phone and I could record something, and I love aesthetic content and stuff like that. And so I was like, let me just try it out. And so was really active in their community for a while. And then I think it was about January or February when it felt like there were whispers of TikTok Shop being like Amazon in its early days, and people being like, yeah, you can just like post these videos with your iPhone and see what happens. And so I was like, well, at this point, I really don't have anything to lose. And so let me just go ahead and try it out. And so I feel really fortunate that I think in like my first 3 to 4 weeks was when I had like my first viral video. And then I think that was the moment that I really just felt like, oh, wow, like everything could change right here. And I just really slowed down on the wedding startup side. I was still doing UGC at the time, still, giving it my all at the corporate job, but I was like so excited about TikTok Shop and the
Yeah.
possibilities of what it could bring. But so I had some really big months in like, I think it was like February and March, and basically made enough commission to be able to cover rent for pretty much a full year. So that like, or July, I was like, okay, well, you know what? This is it. I've always wanted to live by the beach. I think I always thought in my head that it would be something that would happen like when you're, retired, and it's just like a dream. And the fact that it was all happening so much faster than I ever thought, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we're really doing this. So I just
Nice.
remember telling my parents, like, hey, we're going to move to LA next month and we're going to go live by the beach. And everyone just thought it was like a little crazy, but
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes you're not ready when your dreams are about to come true, and you always think it's like so far off. And I always tell anyone who's getting into it that like they are so much closer than you think. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm like living proof of that.
Love it. So Midwest girl fulfilling her dreams to live by the beach. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so just to recap here, your kind of office job, let's call it, right, in corporate finance and auto finance, you always had an entrepreneurial spirit, something on the side. First was the wedding, and then kind of TikTok, and then UGC, and then TikTok Shop came along through that UGC journey.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like to me you're a real OG of TikTok Shop, right? Because you were talking about TikTok Shop before it even came out. Is that correct? Like you were in 2023, making like kind of
I was
in that
hearing,
mix?
yeah, I
Okay,
was
yeah.
hearing about it at the time, but I don't think I really joined until like end of January or something. Yeah.
Okay, so in January of 2024 is when you started making TikTok Shop content?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So almost 2 years. I mean, that's pretty much
We're getting
OG.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, but okay, and then you saw your first kind of glimpses of, success or virality January 2024. And then talk me, okay, so you saw the viralness happen in January. Talk me through that first like couple months. Like was it good, bad? Is it kind of upwards? Is it ups and downs? Like what did that time frame look like you in the very
Um,
beginning?
So I think in the very beginning, TikTok itself was just kind of new to me in the sense that, like, right, shop content always has a very organic feel to it. And
Mhm.
my UC background is very edited and clean cut and aesthetic. And I have an appreciation for both, but it's almost like I had to unlearn everything that I loved and knew really, really fast, and just kind of be
Yeah,
like, all right, I'm going to get on camera, no makeup, rolled out of bed, make it feel very just organic and see what
yeah,
happens. And so I think the first product that I ever promoted, I think it was a mirror that was in my house. It was like an arched mirror. And I was like, let me see if I can, get anyone to buy this and see what happens. I think I made like 1 or 2 sales, and it kind
mhm,
of trickled. I think I made like maybe 30 or $60 in like the first couple of weeks, which I was
yeah.
still like very excited
Yeah, at this
about.
point, you had 0 sales, right? Like
Yeah,
minimal videos, 0 sales, and now you're
yeah,
making money because of a video made. Okay, so it's proof of
yeah.
concept. You're somewhat
So,
excited. What's the next step?
yep. Yep. So then I was like, okay. So then the calls in Brands Meet Creators started to pivot a little bit more towards TikTok Shop. So I would be really active. I would ask questions. I would share feedback with like my fellow creators of like what I'm doing, what's not working, all of that good stuff. And then, yeah, I posted a video using a hook about like what's going to happen if TikTok gets shut down. Like, make sure you buy it on the sale. And it was just a pair of
Mhm,
headphones that like in-ear headphones. They had a little round case. You could wear them around your neck. And the fact that I kind of did it, I think, in that moment was when the video kind of caught on. And
mhm,
that was like my first viral video. And so it
yeah,
was just one of those things like, I have, I'm sitting around like just it's not aesthetic. I'm just talking to the camera being like, oh my gosh, like these headphones are so cool, but you might not be able to buy them. And that just caught on. And so yeah,
when
that
you say
was what
viral, how many views and how many sales approximately?
um you know what? Let me look. I think it's still living somewhere on my profile. I'm
Wow.
now.
Yeah.
Uh let's
So
take a
you
quick
say like in the very
look.
beginning, it was something that you said stuck out to me is the UGC versus kind of TikTok Shop content, right? Like prim and proper and well edited and well lit and well, makeup and all that stuff versus kind of like organic, you said jumping out of bed. or even this one that
Yeah.
went viral for you, kind of just ad hoc, I'm going to pick this up and make a video for you. So yeah, like for those that are overthinking and over preparing on your video making for TikTok shop, like it's okay not to, like, just post, right? It might not be good. So
Yeah. One thing I'll kind of touch on with that is like, I think you kind of have to lean into what works for you. And so, right at that time, I was like waking up at like 4:30 or 5. I'd go work out. I would go and film a few TikToks and then I would go into the office. Like realistically, I really did not have that many hours in the day. So I wasn't gonna go and get ready and do my makeup for, an hour. I
mm,
was just short on time. So I had to lean into like what was going to work if that meant that I could put out more content, just test more
right.
data points, all of that. And so I always tell people that because a lot of creators that I talk to, sometimes there's different things that stop everyone. And I tell them like, if that's just not going to work for you, or you have to do it when your kids are sleeping or whatever that is, like you kind of just have to lean into like
Fit
the
it
time
in.
that you do have. Yeah. And kind of use that more efficiently.
Yeah, so that does two things, right? It makes your content making more efficient, right? You can squeeze more videos per, and then also what we were talking about earlier is that organic fuel, like it's within your day, so
So,
that's kind of like a
yeah, it
double.
really does kind of feel like, FaceTime vibes, like it's
Yep.
not super curated, which is always cool. And then, yeah, I found the video too. I think the very first video was at like 930,000.
Nice.
I remade it a couple times. So then the other ones were like 500,000. But it's so funny because we've now come such a long way where I feel like 930,000 views. It is viral, definitely for
Uh,
back enough to pay my rent, but now it's like you see people do these crazy numbers with 30 million and 50 million and stuff.
yeah. I mean, no, I mean it's hard. I think part of it's also like TikTok Shop is so new, like no one knows what's awesome, and you see these
Yeah,
50 million, and you kind of get jaded a little bit. But like anything, it's all relative as well. Like, what have you been doing? How does it compare to have you been doing?
yeah,
Yeah. So what's so you saw that first success and you're like, okay, and this was like January, February of 24. Like, and then, looking at your profile on Caliday, it's been a little bit of ups and downs. Like it hasn't been all gravy. And you talked to me about like transitioning to lives focus and then shops focus. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, how do you
yeah.
navigate the space in TikTok shop?
Yeah. So I think one thing that I think I'll say I pride myself on is that I'm very open to trying new things. And so a lot of people at the time, like I guess when I first started, no one was talking about live streams. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to post short videos. Then there was kind of a whisper about lives, nothing like it is today, but some people were like, you can jump on a live and you can talk about whatever product. So I was like, hey, I already have success with TikTok doing these headphones. Let me jump on a live and try to see if, more people will buy if I'm on a live stream. So back then I was like primarily short video, just experimenting with lives a little bit. As time went on, though, I ended up completely switching from being an only short video creator to an only live creator. And I pretty much went live almost every single day with the same product for, I think, 7 or 8 months straight. It was
Wow.
a little bit of brain rot, I think, for me,
Yeah.
but of course, the money, of course, is going to be a little addicting. There's a little bit of a thrill there.
That's great.
But
Hold on, let me repeat that. So you said 6 to 7 months every day for the same product.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Okay, and
And it
then
was
like, what
primarily
were the
Facebook.
results of that? Sorry, like what were the results of that? Like approximately how much GMV did you generate during that time?
Um,
You can
so
give a
I think,
roundabout number.
yeah. I mean, I think some of my best lives were like I would make around $1,000 in commission in like 2 to 3 hours, I would say.
Yeah, that's well worth it. $300
Yeah,
an hour, right?
I mean, I can tell I was not making that much per hour at my corporate job. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is great, but it's so funny because it was completely faceless. It was kind of going
Oh,
against
okay.
the typical like rules that you would, hear about what like TikTok tells you and what other people tell you. Completely faceless. So it was just tripod camera, right, like down on a
Yeah.
table, and I was selling these things called cakes. They were these like nipple covers,
Yeah.
and the reason that backstory of why I think I was actually able to passionately talk about them is because during my time in the wedding industry, there were so many brides that
Yeah.
wanted something
Wow.
that would look seamless to wear under their wedding dresses.
Right.
And
And they can't
so
have a bra, right, with a strap. They have to have like supplemental
exactly.
cakes, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would just sit there and I guess I can say this now since I don't work my corporate job anymore, right? But sometimes at the end of the day, I would be like, okay, like there's nothing going on in the last 30 minutes. I would sometimes have my laptop open and,
Yeah.
I would be still on my live. And because it was faceless, I was able to still like answer any messages that came in, but still
Yeah, of
keep talking
course.
about the product, which was
Yeah.
like so funny. But yeah, pretty much every single day for 7 or 8 months. And I had some short videos popping off with them too, but I just did that with lives for so long.
Yeah. I mean, the money, like my question leads to like, how do you mentally commit to every day for that long? And then obviously money is a big factor. Like, hey, if I put in these 3 hours of work, I'm going to get X number of dollars per hour roughly. Right. And it's kind
Yeah.
of, so like, was it hard for you to do it? And then also maybe along the same lines, like, I assume it gets old and you can't do that for the rest of your life. But like, talk me through that, like a
Yeah.
difficulty.
It does, right? It does get old, but I think there's something to be said about picking a product that number one, you feel passionate about, and then number
Mhm.
two, that you really feel like there's a lot of storytelling
Right,
that
like you
feels
said with the wedding industry, right? Like the nipple
yeah.
covers and et cetera. Okay, got it. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
so, like, when I would jump on a live, right, and I was talking about they were called cakes, but, like,
Yep.
cakes, right, people would ask questions. There was an interactive element, like, I would purposely tell people, like, "Put your bra size into the chat, and I will look you up," because that gave me
Mhm.
something to do, so it also kinda just made, like, time fly.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're just constantly doing your spiel, you're gonna be looking at the clock after a while, and
Yeah.
so it gave me something to do, and then I would be kind of like, interacting with other people in the chat, and it kind of felt fun, to do, but
Yeah.
in the same respect, I've done, like, some lives on some other products, and my husband after has came in, and he's like, "Wow, you were nowhere near as excited about that product as you
Uh,
were with cakes."
did the performance reflect that excitement as well?
Yeah, I think so. And it's because like the way that you are naturally hearing me talk right now with I
Mhm.
think I just naturally inflect up and down, that's also how I
Mhm.
talk in a live.
Yeah.
So I'm really sitting there. I think it would be a really different experience if you can tell that I'm not excited, then you're not gonna buy it, right? And
Right,
so
okay.
it's kind of one of those like human behavior mirroring things.
Love it. Okay. So you started to create those lives. What made you kind of go back into to shoppable videos? Was it getting
Yeah.
old, I imagine? But yeah, talk me through that kind of end of the lives era, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, I was still doing it here and there, but, I got a little more heavily involved with an agency. So now I was, helping to like advise brands on how to be successful on TikTok Shop. And so,
Okay.
with that, I think I was just my time was getting pulled into that. And so short videos just became a little more passive for me again.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like I just when I say I wasn't doing lives, it was maybe I was only doing one or two now a week rather than like, the other way where I was doing them every day.
Mm.
But as I did more short videos, I also just was like, okay, this is something that I think personally, like I prefer short videos more. Because I kind of I don't know, I get excitement from editing and kind of seeing the final product and things like that. But I think
Mm.
that I would tell any creator that I think it's really important to like sharpen your skills in both channels.
You think so? Okay. Yeah, because they all benefit each other, right? Like learning
Yeah.
one benefits both. Okay, cool. Going into kind of more of now, like what's working for you, right? As we talked about pre-call, we're developing an app called Buzz IQ, and a lot of that, the emphasis of that app is to try to help the creator in the best way possible. And for me, it's how do they get more inspo? How do we uncover what's working right now? But I want to get into like, what's working for you right now. I know you said shoppable videos, but like, what type of hooks are working for you, or like structure of the videos and editing or anything like that? But like, yeah, what's working for Shiv today on your shoppable videos?
Yeah, sure. So, I think I've been a lot more selective when it comes to selecting products. So, I've
Yeah.
really tried to consciously shift to either products that have higher commission attached to them, or if I am taking on brand deals, I want to make sure that there's like a good enough balance there between like flat fees is like the team behind it running ad spend, and then what's the commission attached to it. So I feel like I'm a lot more strategic this year than I was last year.
Okay.
And then in terms of hooks, I will say, I don't think that I'm the best at this, but I'm trying to create a little bit of drama, a little bit of kind of like shock or controversy, if you will. So, right, like a hook, for example, one that I've been experimenting with lately is saying like, you know what, if you don't say, if they're not going to say this, but I will, like something like that, that try to get people to watch a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So kind of playing with those lately. And what I've been seeing is like, I feel like this could also be GMV max, but I think that the views are going up. I'm always watching my data. So I'm seeing like the retention rate graphs and stuff also go up a little bit, but it's very early.
I love it. Okay, I have so many things to revert back, but quickly the data piece. I spoke with someone recently, and they were saying they take screenshots of their TikTok shop data and they feed it to ChatGPT to give. Do you do that as well?
I don't do that as much. Interestingly
Oh,
enough,
okay,
though,
you
what
did.
I will do though is if I see other like top affiliates or like there are people that I just like look up to and they post a video about what's been working for them or like their top hooks, I'll actually take transcripts of their videos and then feed it into ChatGPT. And so that whenever I need a script, it's pulling from all of that data.
Right, they use it as GPT uses it as inspo.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about product selection. You mentioned high commission, ad spend, etc. But what else do you look for in a product? Like, do you have a category that you specialize in? Like, when you're looking at the sea of TikTok Shop products, and you're
Yep.
over that, kind of honeymoon phase of just getting as many products as you can. Like, now you've kind of whittled it down to a characteristic. Like, what are there some more characteristics of products that
Yeah,
you?
so I've tried to niche down a little bit. So I
Yeah.
have 3 shop accounts that I run. So like one of them, my main one is beauty and skincare, I would say for the most part, a little bit of personal care sprinkled in. That one kind of does well with home too. So we're kind of figuring out what the data is going to tell us there, but I'm trying to make my backup account home. And then I have a third one that is for like health and supplements. I will say I try to kind of steer away from health and supplements just because I feel like that's the hardest one for me to promote more like authentically. With beauty and personal care, I love products where there's a really good visual, and it's something that I actually think about before I request a sample now too. Is there a good visual that I can show with it? Because it can be hard, right? Like anything, like a lot of skincare products, especially if to say, hey, this is what my skin looked like in 3 months. It kind of takes a while. If it's makeup related, you can show what the product looks like on, or if it's a hair product, it's a little bit different. But I've been really big into like strategically thinking about visuals and also thinking about like, can I promote this in a completely different way? And I can give you an example. Like last week, I had a random idea about this like Jennifer Aniston's new like heat protectant spray. Everyone is showing it, spraying it on their hair, and then talking about how like glossy their hair looks. And I might kind of continue to make some more videos like this and test. But what I did was like I took a piece of bread and I sprayed the product on half of the piece of bread and stuck it in a toaster and compared it to the other half to see if like it actually works. And so I think I'm going to keep playing with that. But I've really been trying to think of stuff like that just people aren't doing.
I love that. Yeah, one other affiliate that I was speaking with takes a look at their ingredients, right? So if it's like a honey something, they'll take honey and then pour it all over, or if it's like a lavender thing, they'll take lavender and you can go all the way down, right? So really taking an ingredient of the product and making a visual effect on it and make it eye catching.
Yeah.
So similar feel to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say you pick a product for visuals, is it like when you say visuals, is it like when you like a face cream, do you put it on your face visual, or is it more like how can I find something new to add as a visual?
It's usually like how either is the product visual enough, or is there some sort of like idea or unique way that I can promote it?
Okay.
Like a lot of people talk about like the Medicube capsule creams. When you put it on, it almost looks like a little boba that's like on your skin. Something
Okay.
off the scroll for a second versus like if I just put like normal face cream on, it's not going to be that exciting.
Got it. Okay. So just the visual element, you're including that more. You mentioned a little bit ago about data and how you incorporate that. Use ChatGPT. Everyone's doing that, a little bit of that now. And I always find it interesting on how everyone uses ChatGPT, right? Whether it's putting your video in there, whether it's putting a script in there, but like, how do you use ChatGPT to analyze your data? Or how do you
Yeah.
analyze data on your own?
Yeah. So a couple things. So I will ask it to kind of like help me for retargeting. So if I'm
Okay.
like, hey, this is what I sold in the past 3 days, the past 7 days, then I want to figure out kind of like my filming list for the day or for the week. So I know like, hey, this one's doing really well. Then I'm going to go ahead and, either I'm going to recreate it or I'm just going to continue to post more videos about it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, without ChatGPT, I'll also use like a Calidata or a Fastmoss. Lately, I've been like very keen to tune into how many affiliates are promoting a product and trying to pick products that maybe there aren't
Yeah.
a lot of affiliates, but it's suddenly trending up really fast because that tells me that like they probably have ad spend. There's not a lot of competition.
Yeah.
And that's like a way for me to kind of have a first mover advantage, even if I'm not necessarily the highest GMV creator who like the brand is going to send me, an email to get the
Yeah.
product first.
Yeah. You're kind of hunting out, you're planning ahead and trying to find that product that's popping before the masses get to it. So I look at that, and that's actually an idea that I have for a feature in Buzz IQ is like, what is a video to GMV ratio, right? If there's a lot of GMV and not a lot of videos made or not a lot of creators, then that's a product that you might want to kind of look into more. A similar feel is like, what's a GMV to live ratio? Like, hey, this product is doing $1 million in GMV, but has $10,000 in lives. Well, that's a no brainer. Like, let's get on some lives,
Yeah.
That's an idea for a feature that I want to develop in Buzz IQ. Like, hey, here's the live finder. Here's the top
Mhm.
10 products that have the most lopsided, GMV to lives ratio. Go at it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah. So now that you're becoming like more of a successful, and you mentioned this a little bit, but brands are reaching out to you. What are you seeing now with those brand deals that you're having, and what do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? And talk to me about a little bit of brand deals and how that's
Yeah.
working for you.
So I think probably what every creator would say is if you have brand deals that eventually convert into monthly retainers, the income stability is always something great that you can count on.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is that I really think a lot of brands are still very cautious, and so they will really try to almost like provide too much information to the creator rather than just leaning into the fact that like the creator knows what they're doing. And so what I
Mhm.
mean by that is like for example, right, you can tell the creator like here's all the things about the product, or like here's some questions about what people always ask us about our product. But I had like a brief the other day where they said like don't do any crazy visuals that would be like a shocking claim or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like a pair of tights. So like my idea was that I wanted to take like a heavy like marble bowl that was like on my coffee table, and I wanted
Yeah.
to wrap the tights around it and drag it across my floor to show that the tights are actually that durable and they're actually that strong. But like
Yeah.
that's something where I think like brands are not yet comfortable with the crazy nature of TikTok. And so they were like, no, like that's like a crazy claim. Like you can't do that. But in my head, I'm thinking like, I know that would get views,
Yeah. Why not? Like, let's try it at least.
Yeah, yeah. So it's things like that where I think like brands, I think they really need to get a little more comfortable with kind of leaning into the creator's expertise and like what they know, because like we are living and breathing on these platforms. I mean, there's days I'm
Mhm.
posting over 10 videos a day some days. So it's
Yeah.
like we get so in tune with what works and what doesn't work. And so we appreciate our brand partners, but I think there's something to be said about like leaning into what the creators know as well.
I love it. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, creators input, that's why they're there. That's why you're reaching out to them. So put it in their hands on how to do it. I think maybe, trying to think a little bit where the brand's coming from. Like, you might be a good creator, but the majority of people they reach out to aren't necessarily, right? So the content that they're getting isn't necessarily like, so they feel they need to like push their side a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the other side.
Yeah, no, totally.
Um,
Being on the brand side,
right.
that's sentiment that's been shared, that they want the high they want the high quality content. And
Yep.
also some brands are coming from like the meta world of being like, it's so beautiful and polished over there.
Yeah, exactly. They have to detach a little bit. It's not the same thing. Okay, cool. Now we're approaching the kind of end of our podcast, the rapid fire round of questions. What is the estimated lifetime GMV you've generated on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, so I'm around 750K. I'm hoping to hit that milli this year.
Yeah, by the end of the year. You're definitely gonna have to let me know when that is. Text me,
I
take a picture, and then we'll cheer you on. Cool. And then just curious, approximately of that 750, what percent is lives versus shop videos?
Um, oh, that's a good question. Thinking about all of my time on the platform, maybe like 60/40, like
Okay.
60 shop videos, just because I had those 7 or 8 months where I was live only.
Yeah.
Pretty like I really was putting out maybe 5 to 6 shop videos when I was doing live. So
Nice. And then you right now you went from shop videos to lives, now back to shop videos. Do you ever foresee yourself going back to lives or whatever the wind takes you? Or
honestly, yeah, I do.
okay.
Because I really do think that like the platform is trying to push lives, and I feel really fortunate that I like kind of fine-tuned my skills there quite a bit when I was doing that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like if I do have some videos that are starting to go viral, or like I still every now and then I get like live stream offers or like mega live offers, I still do consider them because
Yeah.
I do think that like live shopping has a lot of room to grow. So I'm not like I'm never going to do lives again. I think that there's
Yeah.
still a place for
Cool.
it.
What is the coolest thing that you're able to buy yourself or friends or family with kind of the newfound success of TikTok Shop?
Yeah.
Maybe the view outside of your beachfront or like your
Yeah, I'm
your
not
but
Yeah, I'm not quite beachfront, but I am
yeah.
maybe like a 10-minute walk to the beach just across the
Nice.
street from our apartment. So,
Yeah. So
um,
your
I
morning coffee by the beach, by the
yeah,
water.
yeah, we do enjoy our sunset walks. So
Love it.
especially being from the Midwest on a Tuesday in January, I'm feeling really grateful. But
Yeah. I mean, it's
yeah,
getting to the winter months, right? So we're in November now, so you're gonna
yeah,
enjoy that. Maybe take a pic and share with your high school friends, like, "Hey, how you guys
yeah.
doing?"
Yeah, honestly though, I think in terms of what I've bought myself, I honestly think it's not anything tangible. It's just the fact that there are days that I love to read. And so I love that there are mornings that I can just wake up and be like, hey, from 9 to 10 a.m., I'm just going to sit around and read, or I'm going
Yeah,
to watercolor, or like do whatever I want. And I think that freedom is something that is like more valuable, I think, than anything else for myself. In terms of family, most of my family's back home in Michigan. So whenever we're with them, it's nice to be like, hey, I get to like set this time aside, because I will never forget like when I had my corporate job about being like, hey, I'm home, but I always have to have my laptop open and have to make sure that
mhm,
I'm answering messages and emails. And it was like it just, it was like right now it's like uninterrupted time, and it's just such a thing that I can now choose to do. It's very intentional, and I love
yeah.
that.
I love it. I think about this all the time, and I was really grateful for this moment for myself a couple weeks ago or last week, where I was picking up my kids. I pick them up every day or drop them off and pick them up every day from school. I'm like, man, how awesome is it that I can drop off and pick up my kids every day from school?
Yeah.
So similar, like, freedom, right? It's allowing you, this space has allowed you that freedom, peace of mind, not, a weight on your shoulders, etc. So I love that. Cool.
Yes.
What is one piece of advice that you wish you had when you first started? Right. So Shiv back in 2024, grinding it out on TikTok. What's one thing you're like, you wish you would have told yourself when you first started?
I think I'll give you one thing I wish I knew and one thing I remind myself of daily is
Love
so
it.
one of them that I wish I knew is to don't be afraid to just keep repeating what works over and over and over until it doesn't work anymore.
Beautiful.
Especially for a lot of people getting into TikTok shop, right? You feel like, oh my gosh, like I don't want this duplicate video on my profile 10 times. But the reality of the way that shop works, like most of that content's not going to your followers, it's going to your FYP. Like very few people are actually looking at your profile and like sorting it a certain way to like find patterns. And like, honestly, who cares at the end of the day? So I was doing what works. And then I think something that I remind myself is to turn off the noise. I wish I knew it back then. I still remind myself every day. It feels like we are on this upward trend of getting overstimulated and bombarded by brand meetings and emails and discords and larks and all these things. And like, not that there's not value in it, but there are tools that you can use so that it sucks up less of your time. Like send your AI note takers to the meetings and get the download of what was going on in that meeting,
Right.
if it's just a presentation, or to be able to kind of focus on your craft and what you want to get good at. Like,
Yeah.
I try to really do that and not get sucked into all of those messages, so I can spend time filming, I can spend time scripting and doing like what I really want to do, because right, content's no good if you never post it.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's like getting smart with your time or being protective of your time, and
Yeah.
saving that for the stuff that really matters. You know, don't just accept every brand deal because it's going to get you in a bad position, right? You want to be selective, or don't attend every meeting. Bring your note taker there so you don't have to take notes. You can be present, right? So just be conscious of how you spend your time.
Yeah.
One thing you said also is repeating what works. For those listening, it's not necessarily like posting the same video time and time again, but I think you mean like, if this video concept worked, this script worked, let's remake it again and repeat it again for the same product or maybe a different product, but repeating in general, right? Like a video.
Repeating the concept in general. Yeah,
There you go.
like my most viral video as of late was like, I think it hit like, I don't know what it's at. I think last time I checked it was like 10 million or something like that. And then I just recreated it. And then I think the second one hit at least a couple million or something, right? And so if you were to sort my profile by popular videos, you would see exactly what I'm doing,
Yeah.
to the person who's just randomly clicking on my profile, you would never know.
Yeah, I would also say like repeating what works. It doesn't have to be repeating your 10 million view video or your 100 million view video. Like if you're at the 100 view range and you get one that's 1,000, well, let's repeat that 1,000, right? So it's not
100%.
just for the kind of all stars out there, but your own content. It's all relative to what you're putting
Yeah,
out.
for sure. You can also, like, depending on what it is, like if it was like, if you think it's the hook or something that really
Mhm.
worked for you, you can take that and replicate it across a ton of products, or it was the call to action or whatever that was. So like just kind of like taking some time to dissect things, I think is so
Mhm.
underrated.
Cool. All right. What are you most excited about right now? Right. It's upcoming. I know Q4. I know you got that 1 milli, goal there, but any other things in your life that you're super excited about, TikTok or not TikTok related?
Yeah, I think actually, so January 10th of next year will officially be my 1 year mark of
Yeah.
having corporate. And so I'm really like just proud and excited to be able to celebrate that. It just feels like a dream come true, something that, like I was saying in the beginning, something that I thought, would be a dream, that something I would, be living by the beach and doing this stuff like, in 40 years. So the fact that it happened so soon, I'm a big believer. I grew up this way. It's important to celebrate all the things, but
Yeah.
especially those moments like that, because what we do is really hard and it can be kind of tough when you don't have coworkers and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a similar one. I think in December is my 2 years of kind of going out on my own, jumping
Yeah,
into the
congrats.
TikTok shop bandwagon,
Yeah.
creating a podcast, all that good stuff. So I will also celebrate my, yearly anniversary of kind of jumping ship, but it's been great. I've enjoyed it talking to people like you and affiliates, and I love hearing the story of like where you guys came from and the opportunities that it's come. It's so easy to talk to affiliates because it's such a bright moment in each and every one of their lives, right? And it's so
Yeah,
positive. So
yeah, it is. It's exciting. I think we were talking about this before we started, but I do think it, like, growing up, my parents would always be like, "Oh, like you don't know how easy it is, or you don't know how easy you have it right now." And I think growing up, I never really understood that. Right, as a teenager, you would disagree and
yeah,
be like, "Well, you have no idea. I have so much homework, and I have to do this and that." And
yeah,
now, being in my 30s, I'm like, wow, they were so right. The fact that we can sit at home with our laptop or our computer and make a living for ourselves and, hit goals and, make our dreams come true, like that is so cool to me.
I
The
know.
fact that we can do that.
I know. I likewise, likewise. My parents are immigrant parents, right? And so just living the American dream in their eyes and just providing opportunity for their kids and lets
Yeah,
us kind of sit in front of a computer, tap some buttons and do something relative to what they're doing, right? They're grinding it out at 12-hour days or whatever it may be. But yeah, definitely appreciative of that as
sure.
well.
You get to do what you love. I think that's also, I'll just kind of add that too, right?
Yep.
You spend so much of your life at work. So the fact that you can do something you love and call it work, I think that's just so special.
I know. So yeah, same thing. Like interviewing, talking with affiliates like yourself. Like I'm just deeply curious about what works for you guys and how awesome it's been. So yeah, that's fulfilling. Cool. But yeah, that concludes it for all the questions in today's episode. Shiv, thank you so much for your time. You dropped so many gems in there, from data analytics to ChatGPT, how you go about creating hooks and visuals for yourself. It was such a pleasure speaking with you today. I'll end off with any last words that you want to share with the audience.
Just to keep going, no matter where you are, just keep going. Just a reminder that the fact that you are getting up and hitting record and posting a video, you're always going to be one step ahead of the person who has never tried. And it sounds cliche to say you're only one video away, but as someone who thought that she couldn't achieve her dreams until, 40 years down the line, and it happened in a matter of 2 months, I just want to tell everyone to keep going. Don't stop.
I love it. Okay, great. But yeah, that concludes it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to leave a review, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.